I'm not scared to be different cause I'm a leader. Never shy away from Christ, let them know I'm a believer. Stand against deceivers cause I'm a leader. If you're not solving problems, then we don't need you.
Welcome to week 2 of The Activist, where you see servant leadership in action. We received great feedback from our first video. That's why we want to hear from you. We want to improve The Activist with every video that we release. Your ideas and your comments, whether they're good or bad, we want to be challenged by your comments and your viewing. They help us out. Watching the video and sharing it is the easiest way that you can help us right now. Show us some love with your like button, your share button. The more views that we get every week, the more support that we can bring in, so we need your help with that. Last week we showed you a few efforts of the Infrastructure Committee. Shirley Langston and that group are doing an amazing job. Some amazing things are going on, and you'll hear more about them as we go forward and do more things. This week we're talking about the Economic Development Committee. Economic development can be a whole lot of things. You know, the committee is looking at that. They actually had a representative from the Chamber of Commerce speak with them last week. So they're figuring out all the different things that could fall under economic development. For the activists, we're going to keep it simple. We notice that we need more job opportunities so we can help people in our community build wealth. Our economic power as a community is our consumption, the things that we buy every day. As a community, we generate millions of dollars of wealth every year, but we hand it over to international corporations like Walmart because it seems like that's the only option we have. I'm not anti-Walmart. I shop at Walmart. Many of the products that I use in my household every month with my family are at Walmart, and that's the cheapest price. But I'm pro-free market. I'm pro-competition. I want to compete with Walmart to build wealth and prosperity in our community. I look at the Treasure City Flea Market here in Waco, and I see everything that we need to begin reclaiming some of that wealth that our community generates every year. I rented a booth this weekend, and I'm going to rent a booth every weekend as a start. Our immediate goal is to help a couple families earn money for this Christmas. Our long-term goal is to create job opportunities by expanding the manufacturing capabilities in our community. We obviously have a long way to go, but the potential for this effort is limitless. Almost every product in Walmart is made in China. And that's where our wealth goes. When we learn to manufacture these products locally, and we will learn how, we can produce them at a rate that will allow us to compete with the prices of Chinese-made goods. We already have a couple patriotic businesses outside of the flea market that are ready to put our products on their shelves. We just have to make quality products. I'm reading a book right now called Put Your Dream to the Test. It's written by John C. Maxwell. He's an amazing leadership teacher. He does all kinds of different studies on the subject of leadership. And as we work in our East Waco community to make a difference, ultimately we want to lead our city in a positive direction. So every week on The Activist, I'm going to include a message based on a chapter that I read. If you buy the book yourself, you can actually read the chapter ahead that's coming up for the next week and send me an email, weigh in on what you think about that chapter and that subject. And when we can, we'll include that in the videos that we produce. When I was in prison, I read a book called All Hat, No Cattle. The number one message that I took away from that book was, don't look out and believe what you see. Instead, you should see what you believe. In order to see what you believe, you have to have a dream. And so when I walked into a gas station and I seen this book on the shelf, Put Your Dream to the Test, I bought it because, just looking at the table of contents, is your dream really yours? How to focus on your dream. I was like, man, this is something that I need. So I want to share with you a summary of this book. I'm not going to read the book word for word because I don't want copyright infringements or anything. But I'm going to motivate you with a summary every week out of this book, and then we'll go on to the next book. But I want to include reading in every video that we do. Do you have a dream? Is your dream really yours? Are you leading your own life, or are you following other people? It's real easy to follow others in this life if we don't intentionally try to lead ourselves and focus on our own dreams. Are you willing to sacrifice to commit to your dreams? Are you willing to pay the cost to be successful at that dream, whatever it takes? Is your dream big enough? I could dream of running for city council, but I'd rather dream of changing the way we lead our city, changing the way we work with poor people, changing the way we work with homeless people, changing the way we educate our children. So I'm going to dream huge. I'm not going to limit my dreams by putting a cap on them. Can you see yourself in your mind once you've accomplished your dream? That's a big question. I can see myself living in the city of Waco, where we educate our kids on a spectacular level. We're awesome at building businesses and helping people prosper with the fruits of their labor and their own creativity, helping them foster that and grow into our economy and prosper. I really like the way that this book wraps up the first chapter. He wraps it up with 4 questions. What would I do if I had no limitations? What would I do if I had only 5 years to live? What would I do if I had unlimited resources? And what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? Think about those questions for a little bit, and I mean, that's the way I'm looking at the city of Waco. I don't feel like I can fail because I'm never going to stop. I'm going to treat it like I only got 5 years to live because I mean, every day I'm out there trying to figure out some kind of way to add to what we're doing, whether it be economic development, education, or working out or any of that. I'm going to end with some motivational video from the neighborhood planning meeting that we had this past Thursday. But don't forget, we have the Education Town Hall meeting coming up on December 6th. I'll bring you a location for that as soon as possible. We're starting a sports training effort here in the community in East Waco. We have some huge plans with a local park. We really want to take this outdoor sports and activities to another level because we see that that's how we can bring young people in and start mentoring and educating students in the East Waco area. Look for The Activist every Monday morning. We're going to continue putting weekly videos out to keep you up to date with what we're doing in the community. Let's revolutionize the way we run a city.
One of the goals of NRI, our Neighborhood Revitalization Initiative, is to revitalize neighborhoods through empowerment and through partnerships. And so one of the things I'm excited about is that our community action plan has been resident driven. It's resident empowered, and we're proud of that.
But before I give you a summary of our past events, I would like to give you a famous quote by a famous person who was a head coach for the Green Bay Packers back in the day, Mr. Vince Lombardi. And Mr. Lombardi stated that the challenge of every organization is to build a feeling of oneness, of dependence one on another. Because in the end, the question that will usually not ask the most is how well one person performs, but how well we perform as a group.
We have been supplying, but as he just said, we have been making any demand. So he taught us some ways that what now we can become and learn how to make demands through our association. We can learn how and where to make our demands, and we are to foster together a harmony within the city.
That's why we want to have a voice, because if we're putting in, we want to get some things that we want out of it. And I'm telling you, this is a huge way to get the city to listen. Having all the neighbors getting together say, really do want this, and we're not stopping until we see how you're going to provide it. Okay. Thank you.